You kind of skated around the question before, so I'll ask everybody else, and then we'll go back to John. Where does All In Texas rank for you, Josh, as far as the greatest AEW pay-per-views of all time? I'll start things off, and I'll say All Out 2021, I think is still number one. Double or Nothing this year, I kind of give that the edge because I thought top to bottom, that was a better card and better match placement. It just flowed a lot better than All In to me. As far as like last year, All In London 2024 and Revolution 2024 is up there. But I would say it's top 5, top 10. I think there's other shows like, Revolution this year was awesome. You had Revolution 2023, Revolution 2020. Those are always in the discussion. Revolution 2022, a lot of revolutions in there in the top 10. But all in because of everything that culminated in it. I think it's a top 5 show in AEW history. Josh?
I would say top 5 just because I think there are other shows that are better, but I think it kind of tells you that AEW does do a lot of great reviews. So being top 5, I mean, it's nothing to take a knock on them for, but I do agree. Like there's at least like 2 Revolution shows that I have in the top 5. I think it's the first one and the one Sting's retirement. I have those 2 in the top 5.
See, I forgot all about Sting's retirement. I can't even remember what happened last week. You asked me about show.
Because not only was it a great event, but the overall show was like
the show.
It was one of the best shows I probably attended live. It might have been the best show I've attended live because I'm like I really have to sit there and watch. I'm like, yeah, I think that might have been the best like wrestling show I've attended.
Krssi, what about you? Where does where did the main event rank for you as far as the year? Well, since you
one of the top 5 main events for the year, for sure. Because I mean, we don't have much to like categorize or go against it, to be honest. For others, but yeah, definitely a top 5 contender for sure. Match of the year contender. All of the above for sure.
Yeah, Hangman and Moxley is my match of the year right now. It just passed Hangman and Ospreay. Hangman and Ospreay is number 2. Kenny and Gabe is number 3. Mm-hmm. And then number 4 you can throw in. I'll probably go Bandito and Takeshita at this point. I've rewatched it twice since last week. John, what about you? AEW All In Texas, where does it rank all time AEW pay-per-views?
I'm actually gonna put it right at a solid number 3. I was thinking this whole time since earlier, and I was like, I can't put it at number 1. It's crazy because if it wasn't for Edge versus Adam Copeland, Revolution would rank so fucking high. Revolution this year was one of the best shows I've ever been to. And in the main event, I was like, fuck. Not telling the taste. And this happens so often in AEW that I think to give a real ranking, I would have to sit with the cards and take some time and compare things and try to rewatch things. But just going off my feelings, All Out 2021 is always going to sit there. And one that I don't hear people talk about enough. A Full Gear 2021.
I was there live for that. I think that's top to bottom their best card ever. Yeah. Like that had nothing but bangers.
Which one was? Remind me of that one. You said
Full Gear 2021 had Omega and Paige in the main event, where Paige wins the title for the first time. It had Darby and MJF in the opener. It had the takeover. The crazy Punk and Kingston matchup. It had the
Brian Miro,
the trios match with Jurassic Express and Christian versus Cole and the Bucks.
I forgot about that shit. That was awesome.
Had FTR versus Lucha Bros. Like this shit just had nothing but bang. It's like 7, 8 matches deep of just great matches. I was there live for that. That's one of the best shows I've ever been to live. I agree with Josh though. Revolution 2024 is one of the best shows, and that top to bottom is just great because you got the Sting retirement, you got Ospreay and Takeshita, you had Joe, Swerve, and Hangman for the world title. You had FTR versus BCC in the great tag team matchup. You had Toni Storm and Deonna Purrazzo. There was Christian and Daniel Garcia. Like, yeah, that was a great show as well. And all in London last year. I think if Mercedes and Britt deliver, that would be my easy number one.
Oh yeah, because they messed up. They messed that one up.
They did not deliver. They did not. They had a great build up, but the match did not deliver. If that match delivers, that's the best show in AEW history to me because of how it ends with Bryan beating Swerve in the main event. But that alone, and the Mariah May and Toni Storm and Will and MJF, like that show is an all timer as well. Like they had 2 all timers last year with Revolution and All In. 2023 had the All Out show of 2023 that had Bryan and Ricky Starks. That was another one I was live for. It had Takeshita and Omega, had Orange Cassidy versus John Moxley. That year also had the first All In from Wembley Stadium, which is going to be always viewed as an all-timer. And then it also had Revolution that had the big three of the Iron Man match with MJF and Bryan, the House of Black versus the Elite Trios matchup, and Hangman and Moxley in the first Texas Death Match.
I think for some people who are listening, it's like, how could you call this an all-timer if it didn't happen in it didn't happen in WWE or whatever. I think you really gotta understand the difference in what we're looking for out of wrestling. Like I think if you lean more towards like that kind of wrestling, then I don't know if this is ever gonna speak to you the same way. I almost feel bad. Like, damn, you'll never gonna feel this. We've been feeling this shit 4 times a year over here, but it's like if you're into wrestling for wrestling's sake, if you're into the violent dance, then there's no better time to be a wrestling fan right now. Like, and over the last 6 years, as far as like mainstream wrestling, there's never been this quality of professional wrestling on a television show. Like, never. That's crazy to say, right? You must think to yourself, well, probably in the 80s or whatever. Fucking no. Like on a weekly basis, you got guys out here at this age willing to go out there and work that style for that long. And yeah, that does end up with like injuries, and that does end up with a lot of other people hurt, but that's kind of what makes it all worth it. Like that's the risk. That's what it's all about, which is crazy to say, right? This isn't ballet though. That's what it's all about. Like this is the dance. If that's what you're into, fuck man, this company. That's why it's so hard to be like, what's a top 10? Then you realize and you sit and you look through the pay-per-views. It's like it would be so much easier to say what is the worst one.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I could tell you too. It's World's End 2023.
The first one,
All Out 2020. Those are the worst two AEW pay-per-views.
And it's so easy to say because every other one was just like at least it was good. Like there's never beyond that line. Every other AEW pay-per-view is at least good. So now you got to sit here. This would take hours. You'd literally have to go card for card, match for match, and come up with a mathematical number one. For this
That's a good idea for a video.
I also will say too that in regards to their pay-per-views, I think what's really benefited them in regards to their pay-per-views is this is kind of what kept them up with AEW when it comes to like perception and all that stuff was their pay-per-views that you kind of knew what you were getting with AEW pay-per-view. And I think that even last year that helped them a lot because last year was like it was so up and down. There was times where you had like good buildups and then there was times where it was like, what are we doing right now? Like we have a show coming up and there's nothing here. But then all of a sudden, majority of their pay-per-views always delivered. And I think that was the best part of the business last year too. Like they increased in their pay-per-view buys last year because of that. So I think that's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't look into too much where it was like, their pay-per-views kept them afloat in a sense. And then now you're starting to see it more. Like you're starting to see like the numbers still go up, and people are still buying. No matter gets spread about the price, people are still buying. Why? Because they know they're getting a good show.
Good show. Yep.
I mean, you paying $50, man. Jeez, You got to get a good show. Also, I don't mind the length. Obviously, they can't all be all in sized, but All In is probably the biggest show they were going to do in all year, so I don't mind that it went that long. It didn't feel like 6 hours. I was at Mania 35. I was at the last record holder, and that one felt like
every
8 hours.
bit of 5 hours and 20 minutes. And yes, I still have PTSD of Dustin Rhodes no selling us a cinder block to my fucking ankle. That's why I don't want to see him win all these titles.
He's a road.
I'm about to say, but you're okay with him having this pop in Texas?
No. I'm able to rationalize it in my head. I don't accept it and I don't like it, but I'm able to rationalize why.
I mean, there's proof that he didn't like it because he had that picture that he posted, which was hilarious.
Yes.
So,
yes,